as the offering is going around, I've also asked some people with the film to pass around this card. This card's really helpful. It'll be a little bit more clear to you why it's helpful when you get it. Just take one if you want and pass it on. But it's a little bit of a follow-up to the film, and I don't know if you've seen the film yesterday. It's also today at 12:30. But this is a really important little follow-up, and so this will be a helpful follow-up even with our discussion here. When I saw the film, it's going to sound crazy to you because I've been a pastor for 14 years, 13 and a half years, but the film exposed how ignorant I was of this issue. And not because it's not an issue I'm sure we have in our church, but just simply because I've been ignorant of probably something that is in our church, which is sad to say. One of the things I was struck by as I watched the film was that I had a lot more simplistic view of the problem and therefore a lot more simplistic view of the solution than I had any idea. And a lot of times you hear, I've said it, you hear of others, women involved in a domestic abusive relationship. So why don't they just leave? Why are they still there? And that question really exposes a lot of ignorance. Cynthia, as a director, speak to that issue just a little bit. Why is that an ignorant question to ask?
Well, it's also the same question that I had, and I think that most of us probably feel that way because we all think if somebody hit us that's supposed to be the person that loves us, that we would be out of there. And I think most of the time that does happen. But what I found out while making this film is that in these abusive relationships, that leaving can be the most dangerous thing a woman can do. Up to 75% of DV homicides across this country happen either at the point of separation, when the woman is trying to leave, or after she has already left. So, in fact, that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to do what we all think they should do, and they get killed. Their children get killed. Sometimes their friends, other family members. And so the film, what we wanted to get at is just how complicated these situations are and that we need to ask different questions.
That's good. Kit is one of the subjects in the film. If you've seen the film, you'll know that she's sadly, but also fortunately in many ways, been on both sides of the issue, the victim of domestic violence, and now very much a help to those who are in domestic violence. We see her in the film in heroic moments, as we see both of them in the film in heroic moments. But Kit, you've got a church here of, well, church people, and then also you have maybe not the typical church people. Some of you are, some of you aren't. But you have also a church probably with a very high per capita of healthcare workers. Speak to that just a minute. People who are what you call first responders to domestic violence.
Well, there are people in the community that I think we all turn to and see them as a potential first responder to a victim of domestic violence. And those are law enforcement, dispatchers, paramedics, people like that. But also it's healthcare workers, because a lot of domestic violence victims feel that they can go to their healthcare provider and what they say to them will be held in confidence. They look at that opportunity, that time, as sort of a problem-solving time, and yet a great number of healthcare providers choose to not deal with the domestic violence because oftentimes they feel like they're not going to know what to say, or they're going to say the wrong thing, so rather than that, they say nothing. I had that experience when I was being abused. And one of the things that's good about this card being passed out is it's going to give everyone the opportunity to step into that first responder role, because you might be standing in a line at a grocery store and notice that a woman has a black eye or is seeming frightened or agitated or scared or whatever. And so you might choose to be that first person that asks her about what happens at home behind closed doors. Is she afraid of her partner? Does she not express her own opinion because she thinks that if she does, that there's going to be consequences for it? So part of what we hope to do with this film and with the Impact and Outreach Project is get everyone to some degree fluent with understanding the dynamics of domestic violence, understanding why this is a unique crime, and that really everyone out there is potentially a first responder. So yes, we want our healthcare providers to approach that topic with her. The very conservative statistics are 1 out of every 4 women will be abused at some point in time in her life. So it's highly likely that it's happened in this church with some of the congregants. So we just encourage you all to keep your eyes and your ears open and be that person who reaches out, be that person who builds that bridge to acceptance, to safety, to community resources. And you might be the person who helps save her life, the lives of her children, and then ultimately who helps make the community a safer community.
And the film shows that she's not exaggerating at all. It's a very eye-opening film. To see the film and to see Deanna in the film and her heart-wrenching story, you'll realize what an amazing thing it is to have her here with us this morning. And sure, let's clap. Absolutely. And these aren't things we take for granted. These moments that from our perspective, God has really done something in your life. I'm not saying you should see it that way, but you're here with us, and that's special for us. Okay, good. Why don't you just speak for a moment, Deanna? What are you doing now, and what do you hope to do in the next couple of years?
I am currently a senior at Appalachian State College.
A senior at Appalachian State College. Hold the microphone just a little bit closer to your mouth.
Sorry.
Not your typical senior.
Not
No.
your typical senior. No.
Yeah. What do you hope to do?
I hope to become a victims specialist with the FBI.
I bet you'd be a good one.
I hope so.
It's a good ambition. Yeah. Your daughter?
My daughter is 8 years old, learning to play the fiddle.
And she's doing well.
She's doing very well.
Yeah, she's safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's give these people a thank you for coming with us here this morning. Yeah. Cynthia wants to say one more thing.
I just want to say thank you to all of you. It's not exactly a typical relationship to have a church congregation to be so involved in a film festival and to recognize the power of documentaries. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you for supporting the True Life Fund and to helping these ladies. They're going to go out and do tremendous work, and we just really appreciate it.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks. You guys can go ahead and go through that door.